my name is Jordan Kilpatrick-Smith. I'm a registered kinesiologist, a health coach, and the founder of Thrive Health Solutions. In short, I help people get healthy, but specifically I work with obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. So we have a really good gathering here today, and this is going to work out nicely. So I just want to do a little demonstration with hands. So in response to the questions, if you can please raise your hands, that would be great. Please raise your hand if you or someone you know has to lose weight or should lose weight for their health. Right, so take a look around. Everyone's hands are up there. Again, please raise your hand if you or someone you know has type 2 diabetes. And last time, if you or anyone you know has heart disease. Okay. These three diseases, obesity, diabetes, and heart disease, are life-threatening diseases, but they are some of the most prevalent diseases in our society. And despite being at the pinnacle of human innovation and medical technology, we have this prevalence. And you have to ask, what does that say? I think it says that our treatment for these diseases is currently ineffective. Otherwise, we wouldn't have them, right? So today, I'm going to talk to you with a particular method for treating these diseases. And in doing so, I'm going to be taking some pretty complex physiology and simplifying things. So just understand that there are always going to be those little bits of information that stand out and are exceptions, and if anyone wants to deep dive into science afterwards, come on and talk to me. I'm more than happy to do so. But if you take what I say today and you apply it, it will work. Is everyone okay with that? Yeah. All right, so the focus of this talk today is going to be on a hormone called insulin. Has everyone heard of insulin before?
Yes.
Okay. Insulin is a hormone that tells your body to store its energy and prevents you from using that stored energy. In other words, it's like it says charge your battery, and you can't use your battery while it's charging. So anytime that you eat, your insulin levels are going to go up, right? Because you just consumed some food and it's saying store your energy. So we're going to look at the recommendation that most people have heard of or follow to eat 5 to 6 small meals a day to lose weight, and how this is actually not helping anybody. So, can everyone see my hand here? Okay, so you eat, your insulin levels go up because that's what they are supposed to do. Now, as they start to fall back down, we're already eating our snack. So you had breakfast, insulin goes up, starts to fall back down, but before it can properly come back down, it's gone back up because you've had a snack. It starts to come back down and lunchtime hits and it's back up. It starts to come back down and snack. It starts to come back down, dinner. And we just keep spiking it up and up and up, and we never give it an opportunity to come back down. So why is that an issue? Why is it an issue to have high levels of insulin all of the time? Oops. Okay. Falling off my stand here. When you have high levels of anything all of the time, and you are exposed to something all of the time, whether it's heat, cold, smell, taste, drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, when you are exposed to something, you build a resistance to it. And when you have high levels of insulin all day long, because we are eating all day long, you build a resistance to the insulin. And just like if you had a high alcohol tolerance, you would drink more alcohol to get drunk. I think we can all relate to that. Your body gives more insulin to solve the problem of being resistant to insulin. So we've taken our high levels of insulin, we've developed a resistance to the insulin. Now we have higher levels of insulin, which leads to more resistance to the insulin, even higher, even more resistance. And this cycle keeps going on and on and on until eventually it breaks, because it can't go on forever. And when that cycle breaks, you now have type 2 diabetes. That's all the disease is. It's an insulin resistance disease. And so I'd like to remind everyone how insulin says store your energy and don't use your stored energy. So when you have high levels of insulin, you cannot break your fat down. Which is why we often see obesity as a precursor for diabetes, and a lot of people with type 2 diabetes are also overweight. Is everyone okay with that? Does anyone need clarification on anything I just said? Yes?
So are you specifically talking about food? What about if I have a drink at 4 o'clock instead of whatever, like popcorn?
That's a fantastic question. So, in case anyone didn't hear it, what if you have a drink instead of having food? Insulin becomes released anytime you consume something with calories.
Oh, okay.
So, if you are drinking water, you're good to go. If you're drinking black coffee, you're good to go. However, if you are drinking a smoothie, if you're drinking your coffee with cream or sugar or anything of that sort, your body will react in the same way as if you ate something. Does that answer your question?
Oh yeah, because now wouldn't you say that something like wine, because it has more of a sugar intake, would be really dangerous? Or more, that's not the right word,
Right.
but you know what I mean.
We can absolutely get into that after the talk.
Okay.
And if anyone wants to hear that after the talk, we can talk about it for sure. But I'll come and chat with you afterwards about that. Is that okay? Okay. So the question then becomes, how do you solve this issue of high levels of insulin? And since eating raises the insulin levels, when you don't eat, your insulin falls down. Now, most of us don't eat when we sleep, right? So that's when our insulin levels normally come down. But the issue is clearly that sleep time is not enough to bring our insulin levels down, otherwise we would not have this issue. So what do we do? So I'm going to take you guys through the 3 steps that I take all of my clients through when they come to me with an issue. And the first step, which is a precursor to the other steps, is to eat just 3 meals a day. Cut out the snacking, cut out that unnecessary boost of insulin. We went for many decades where it was standard to eat 3 meals a day, and it's only recently that we've stopped doing so. So I think all of us can feel comfortable eating 3 meals a day for the most part. The second step is to take your 3 meals and restrict the window that you eat them in. So instead of eating from the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed, we're taking those 3 meals and squishing them within a 12-hour time window. So from the time you start, if it's 8 a.m., stop eating by 8 p.m. Same amount of food, we're just squishing the time that it's together. That way, in the other 12 hours, insulin will fall down, and when insulin starts to fall down, you get less resistance. When you have less resistance, you have less insulin, and again less resistance, and again less insulin, and then you can finally start to lose your weight. The third and the final step, which people typically do at their own pace, is to restrict that 12 hours further down to 8. And now that takes time, and that's often scary for a lot of people to think that they should eat all of their food within 8 hours. But I assure you, it is possible. You can do it. What that allows is that you have 16 hours now where insulin levels are allowed to fall. And the reason I say 8 hours is that's typically the point where people notice that their insulin resistance issues start to go away very rapidly. They start to lose weight. They start to increase their energy. And so the title of this talk was how to save time, money, and energy and gain energy while losing weight. So you might ask, okay, well, how am I saving time, money, and energy? You're saving time because we're cutting out all of the unnecessary time you spend eating, which adds up to quite a lot every day when you actually think about it. You save money because you're not spending money going out buying snacks because you feel that you need to constantly be eating. I have one client that came to me and was spending $8 every morning at Starbucks. Right? With 20 work days in a month, it's $160 a month that she just saved by not doing that. A lot of times with energy, people are worried that if they don't eat, they're going to lose energy. I would just like to assure you, and if anyone wants me to go into why afterwards, I'm more than happy to, but your energy and your metabolism actually increase when you are not eating all of the time. Okay? Perhaps you use that energy to go on a nice long walk in the morning, like today.
In the cold.
In the cold. Here we are. And one final thing I'd like to touch on is if you are on some sort of medication for obesity, diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure, cholesterol, fatty liver, whatever it is, make sure you talk to your doctor before you make a change, because your current medications they're prescribed for your current lifestyle, and when you change your lifestyle, you will also need to change your medication. So please talk to your doctors before you go and make a change. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
You don't talk about food choices, so your diet assumes that you can eat the exact same foods.
Well, no, and that's a fantastic question. I really wanted to get into food choices, and I actually had that planned for today's talk, but I ended up having my talk 25 minutes, so I had to cut it out. Just very quickly, since it was brought up, eat real food. Okay? If it comes from the planet, it's real. If it comes from a lab, it's not. Don't eat it. The other thing is get rid of added sugar. Added sugar sneaks into things all over the place, and make sure that you are getting rid of it, because added sugar is just going to destroy your body I want to say quickly, but it takes time. One last thing I forgot to mention is sweeteners do not fix the issue. Don't eat sweeteners. They count as sugars as well. Any other questions?
Let's walk, it's freezing.
Okay, let's walk. I'm going to come around and talk with everyone, so if anyone has questions they want to ask me on anything related to health, please do so.